Hello and welcome to E&E Radio 101 FM and television, education and entertainment. I am your host, Dr. Kokofele, with his PhD upside down from the University of Nothing going on. His story or our story are at the heart of the matter. Before the arrival of Europeans, the ancient civilizations in Africa, Asia, North and South America had built monolithic statues, pyramids, and thriving cities. Many of Mother Nature's creations and that of indigenous marvels ones were either destroyed or renamed to reflect Europeans. European names were forced on enslaved Africans and the Aboriginal people, who then became properties. On today's segment, we take a dive into the global outcry regarding monuments, statues, in public places. To celebrate or not to celebrate. At the heart of the sagas are the stories versus our stories. Are the celebration of most, if not all, of these public monuments and statues the celebration about conquest or the subjugation of the world by Europeans who went across the sea not as immigrants, migrants, or people looking for greener pastures, but as discoverers and settlers. Are monuments and statues directly or indirectly a rub of salt into the wound of the once enslaved and conquered people of the world? Has the international outcry got anything to do with political correctness? These feelings have become a universal phenomenon as people are demanding the removal of monuments and statues, of history, of the abuses, with some radicals demanding the destruction of all. The question is, should monuments and statues be destroyed, removed, or placed in museums as relevant educational materials? As host, I play the devil's advocate and give listening ears to all parties' opinions and viewpoints. We shall start with video clips in support of Confederation, monuments, and statues from around the world. We'll be back with you.
Black people come to the festival here, I believe, right?
Claro, pode, sim.
Of course black people are welcomed. They're welcomed in the best way possible, like everyone is. There's no distinction. We are not racist.
These are some of the names of the original settlers and their names that are still very much found in the local community here. That strong lineage and a strong sense of pride, Confederate flag and all, is still very much in play.
They're trying to take away our culture. They're trying to take away our history. And our weak leaders, they do it overnight.
Only in Africa, the so-called beloved imperialist, the late President Kwame Nkrumah famously said, a good imperialist is a dead one. Well, that is puffing puff. The names of enslaved Africans and Aboriginal people were changed to those of the colonial masters because they were considered personal properties that were bought, sold, and resold in the open market. Are these worth celebrating? Christopher Columbus, Sir John A. Macdonald's, King Leopold of Belgium, to name but a few, are the ones people are demanding to move out of public places. Africa, Cecil Rhodes, according to Wendell Ruff of Reuters, was born in 1853, the son of a bishop, Stortford clergyman in England. Went to South Africa because of adolescent ill health. He founded the De Beers Diamond Empire, becoming one of the world's wealthiest, and rose to the premier of the Cape Colony in 1890. He began the policy of enforced racial segregation and what became to be known as apartheid regime in South Africa. He went on to donate land that the UCT campus is built on. The young man who arrived from London with no land.
It's true a flag did not cause these murders. But as people from all walks of life, Republicans and Democrats now acknowledge, including Governor Haley, whose recent eloquence on the subject is worthy of praise.
Is out of step with today's values. These monuments celebrate a fictional sanitized Confederacy, ignoring the death, ignoring the enslavement, ignoring the terror that it actually stood for. And after the Civil War, these monuments were part of that terrorism, as much as burning a cross on someone's lawn. They were erected purposefully to send a strong message to all who walked in the shadows about who was still in charge in this city.
How should the rest of the country look upon the South now?
Right now, they should look at us with some optimism. I mean, I can't think of a tide change on this issue, anything even remotely close to it in the last few decades, and I think that's encouraging. I think that more Southerners than ever are understanding that this symbol does not represent the country, doesn't represent the region in the way it should. That does not mean you can't honor your ancestors who fought for a particular battle that is important. That does not mean that, but it does mean that you cannot say this symbol represents everyone. I think that's what people are saying happening in the South.
The statue of Cecil Rhodes. Hundreds of students at the University of Cape Town on Thursday protested, demanding that the statue be brought down.
Somebody who is being talked about these days in South Africa. We host a statue, they host him in Zimbabwe.
We in Zimbabwe did not know about Rhodes until South Africa said they had someone called Rhodes in Cape Town. So we are looking after the corpse. You have the statue of him. I don't know what you think we should do. Dig him up. Perhaps his spirit might rise again. And
In my critical closing statement, I will only say that as global citizens, we have to think togetherness and tell global stories of people and things that unite us together if we are thinking of living in a fearless, loving world. That does not mean that we have to deface or destroy things, but more importantly, we should have those monuments, statues, and all supporting documents be housed in museums that our children and children's children will have the opportunity to learn from the past and to understand the past. I thank you all for being participants who have participated in this participation. Until next time, I am your host, Dr. Kokofele, with his PhD Upside Down.